June 18th, 1815, near the village of Waterloo, south of Brussels, two armies face each other across muddy farmland. Rain has been falling for days. The ground is soaked. On one side, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of the French, with 72,000 men. He's won 50 battles in 20 years. He's conquered most of Europe. His tactical genius is legendary. On the other side, the Duke of Wellington with 68,000 British, Dutch, and German troops. He's never lost a battle. He's beaten the French in Spain, but he's never faced Napoleon directly. 12 miles to the east, Prussian Field Marshal Gebhard von is marching toward the battlefield with 50,000 men. If the Prussians arrive before Wellington breaks, Napoleon is finished. If Napoleon crushes Wellington before the Prussians arrive, he might still win. Everything depends on the next 12 hours. By nightfall, Napoleon's empire will be over, 23 years of revolutionary. And Napoleonic wars will end. The political map of Europe will be redrawn. One battle, one day, everything at stake. This is Waterloo, Chapter 1, The 100 Days. To understand Waterloo, you need to know how Napoleon got there. April 1814. Napoleon abdicates after being defeated by a coalition of European powers. He's exiled to the island of Elba off the coast of Italy. The victorious powers meet at the Congress of Vienna to reorganize Europe. They restore monarchies. They divide up Napoleon's empire. They think the wars are over. They're wrong. March 1st, 1815. Napoleon escapes from Elba with 1,000 men and lands in France. The French army, technically loyal to the restored King Louis XVIII, is supposed to stop him. Instead, they join him. Regiment after regiment defects. Marshal Ney, who promised to bring Napoleon back in an iron cage, embraces him and pledges loyalty. By March 20th, Napoleon is back in Paris. Louis XVIII has fled. The empire is restored. The European powers are horrified. Austria, Britain, Prussia, and Russia immediately declare war. They're raising armies, but it takes time. Napoleon has maybe 3 months before overwhelming coalition forces invade France. His only chance is to strike first, defeat the armies near France before they can combine. The closest threats are Wellington's British army and Prussian army, both in Belgium. Napoleon marches north with 125,000 men. The plan is simple: get between Wellington and defeat them separately before they can unite. If he wins, maybe Austria and Russia negotiate. Maybe he keeps his throne. If he loses, it's over. Chapter 2. The campaign begins June 15th, 1815. Napoleon crosses into Belgium, catching Wellington and by surprise. June 16th. Two battles happen simultaneously at Quatre Bras. Marshal Ney fights Wellington to a draw. At Ligny, Napoleon defeats. The Prussians retreat. Napoleon assumes they're retreating east, away from Wellington. He's wrong. Is retreating north toward Wellington, determined to support him despite being 72 years old and injured. June 17th, Wellington withdraws to Waterloo. Heavy rain slows Napoleon's pursuit. By evening, both armies are in position. That night, heavy rain soaks the battlefield. Napoleon delays the attack until late morning on June 18th, waiting for the ground to dry. That delay gives time to march closer. Chapter 3. The battle 11:30 a.m., June 18th. Napoleon opens the battle with an artillery bombardment. 80 guns fire on Wellington's ridge, but the ridge provides cover. Wellington's troops are lying down on the reverse slope. Most of the cannonballs fly overhead. 1 p.m. French infantry attack Hougoumont, a fortified farmhouse on Wellington's right flank. It's supposed to be a diversion. Instead, it becomes a battle within the battle. Thousands of French troops spend all day trying to capture one building. They fail. 2 p.m. the main French infantry assault begins. 18,000 men in. 4 divisions advance up the slope toward Wellington's center. They break the first line of Dutch troops. It looks like a breakthrough. Then Wellington orders his infantry to stand. British redcoats into rank lines stand up from behind the ridge. At 50 yards, they fire coordinated volleys. The French assault staggers. British cavalry charges into the disordered French columns. The attack collapses. Thousands of French soldiers retreat down the hill, but the British cavalry gets carried away. They charge too far into the French artillery. French lancers counterattack. The British cavalry is destroyed. Both sides have suffered heavy casualties. It's early afternoon. The battle could still go either way. Then word reaches Napoleon. Prussian troops are approaching from the east. Chapter 4. The Prussians arrive. kept his promise. Despite being 72 years old and injured at Ligny, he's marched his army through mud for 12 hours to reach Wellington. Napoleon has to divert troops to face the Prussian threat. He sends 33,000 men east to delay them. That's 1/3 of his army, no longer available to fight Wellington. 4 p.m. Marshal Ney, desperate to break Wellington before more Prussians arrive, orders massed cavalry charges. Waves of French cavalry, the best in Europe, charge up the slope toward Wellington's infantry. Thousands of horsemen in cuirasses and plumed helmets. Wellington's infantry forms squares, hollow formations bristling with bayonets. Cavalry can't break infantry squares if the infantry holds discipline. The British hold charge after charge, crashes into the squares. Horses refuse to run into walls of bayonets. Riders are shot from saddles. The cavalry achieves nothing. By 6 p.m., the French cavalry is wrecked. More Prussian troops are arriving. Napoleon is running out of time and troops. 7 p.m. Napoleon commits his final reserve, the Imperial Guard. These are the elite veterans who've never been defeated. If anyone can break Wellington's line, it's them. 5 battalions of the Guard, 3,000 men, advance up the slope in perfect formation. They're supposed to be invincible, Wellington's Guards and British. Infantry wait until they're 30 yards away. Then they stand and fire, devastating volleys at point-blank range. The Imperial Guard staggers, tries to form, fires back, but the British don't break. Then Wellington orders a bayonet charge. For the first time in its history, the Imperial Guard retreats. The cry goes up, La Garde recule. The Guard retreats. Panic spreads through the French army. If the Guard can be beaten, the battle is lost. Chapter 5. The rout 7:30 p.m. Prussian troops break through on Napoleon's right flank. Advance guard captures the village of Plancenoit after brutal fighting. Wellington, seeing the French army wavering, orders a general advance. The entire Allied line, 60,000 men, moves forward. The French army disintegrates. Units that held all day suddenly break and run. Soldiers abandon weapons and equipment. Officers lose control. Napoleon tries to rally troops with the Guard, but it's hopeless. Even the Guard is retreating. By 9 p.m., the French army is in full rout. Thousands of men stream south in panic. The Prussian cavalry pursues, cutting down stragglers. Napoleon narrowly escapes capture. He abandons the army and rides for Paris. French casualties, 25,000 dead and wounded, 8,000 captured. Coalition casualties, 22,000. The difference is that Wellington and hold the field. Napoleon's army is destroyed as an effective fighting force. 4 days later, Napoleon abdicates again. He tries to escape to America but is captured by the British. This time, they don't send him to an island near Europe. They send him to St. Helena, a remote rock in the South Atlantic. He'll die there 6 years. Later, Chapter 6, the Congress of Vienna-Waterloo reshapes European politics for a century. The Congress of Vienna reconvenes. Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia redraw Europe's map. France returns to pre-revolutionary borders. The Bourbon monarchy is restored. A balance of power system is established. No single nation should dominate Europe. This concert of Europe maintains relative peace for almost a century until 1914. Britain emerges as the dominant global power. Prussia grows stronger, setting the stage for German unification. France spends the next century trying to recover its great power status, closing June 18th, 1815. One day, one battle. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who conquered Europe, is defeated by Wellington, and the empire that stretched from Spain to Poland collapses. 23 years of war end on a muddy field in Belgium. The political order established after Waterloo, the balance of power, the restored monarchies, the Congress system lasts for 100 years. One battle changed everything. It proved that even genius can be defeated. By coalition, determination, and a little bit of luck, Napoleon won 50 battles, but he only needed to lose one. Subscribe to Sword and Pen, where military might meets political power.